Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another Instagram Live interview with MS Insight. I am Erica with MS Insight, and I'm so glad you're here. I know some of you probably recognize my face from past interviews and some of our reels, so that's really fun. We're so glad you're here. I'm going to be joined today by Cathy Chester. She's going to come on as soon as she is able to request to join, so we're excited about that. While we're waiting, though, I wanted to tell you about our MS patient support group we have on Facebook. It's a private group, and it's growing really fast. We have about 1,000 members now. So if you just type in multiple sclerosis patient support group on Facebook, you should find it, and it is headed by MS Insight. And honestly, I'm really happy with so much of the support that I'm seeing going on in there. People are, talking about some of the issues that they're facing, and supporters are there to encourage them and offer advice. We have a lot of people who are very new to MS, a lot of new diagnoses. Oh, here's Cathy. We're going to bring her on. Second, while she is coming onto the feed, I'm so excited to bring another story to you guys today. I know that people really enjoy those. Hi, Cathy. Are you there?
Wait, how do I turn my camera around?
You're on the, I'm seeing just like a pole.
Yeah, you see my unmade bed in the wall.
I actually can't see the bed. It's just the top. There you are.
Hey, did it.
Oh, hi. So it worked out. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is my first Instagram Live, so you're teaching me.
Well, I'm so glad that we could have that honor of being your first Instagram Live, because it looks like you've probably done a lot of interviews on different platforms over the years.
I definitely have. No, I have to say nobody's had matching glasses with me, though. You're the first.
That's awesome. Yeah, these were kind of last minute. I have like 5 pairs of glasses, and I was like, I'll grab these. Like, I didn't do my hair today, so I need to do put some glasses on. But this color is fun, isn't it?
Yeah, very fun. It just, gives you a little oomph when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell Elizabeth is saying hi to me, but I don't have a telephone stand, and I don't dare type anything in that comment box down there.
Oh yeah, so, yeah. I can't talk and do comments at the same time. It just doesn't work.
No.
Well, thank you for talking with us today. I would love to just start out by asking you a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and when you got your MS diagnosis.
Okay, so I am from New Jersey in the USA. Central Jersey, and I was diagnosed back in what I call as the dark ages, as 1986, before any internet or before any MS medications. There were zero. So the doctors would just tell you to go home, give up your life, rest, let them know if you need some steroids, and there was really not much hope at all. It was a pretty sad time. So does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No,
you're totally fine. I was just thinking you were going on, but I got you on the questions. So when you got that diagnosis, I mean, I always like to ask people, what gave you the sort of signs and signals that something was wrong? What were some of your symptoms?
Well, back in 1981, I was in a terrible car accident, and I had to get 16 stitches in my forehead. I had a bad concussion, and my feet were totally numb. I went to our regular doctor, and he told me that my shoes were too tight. So starting to buy all new shoes, which ordinarily is an exciting prospect, was not, because my feet were still numb. So I, just being young, I was in my 20s and working in Manhattan and having a great life. I just didn't want to worry about it. So then fast forward to 1986, when my legs were so numb and I was losing the ability to walk or use my hands, and I was tired 24/7, I knew something was up. And so I went to a neurologist who was he was not a specialist in MS, and he quickly diagnosed me. At the time, they used MRIs weren't so prevalent. It was a CAT scan and a spinal tap, and it was conclusive that I had MS. And I went to the city just to get a second opinion, and it was still conclusive. And at that time, they told me in 5 years there'd be a cure. So we know how that turned out. So it was a pretty overwhelming a time, don't know anybody that had it, don't know where to turn, no internet. and and so that's when I discovered, and actually my neurologist told me to find a comprehensive care center where that's all they do is treat people with MS, both emotionally and physically. And I found a real family, what felt like a family type center to go to, and they gave me the care and understanding, and also and additionally helped my family cope with it, and also my boyfriend, who we were in a serious relationship at the time, and they really helped us a lot and helped me tremendously learn what MS was and what it wasn't. But it was different then too, because you asked if yoga would help. Ha ha ha. Nobody would listen about holistic modalities. It was all traditional medicine at the time. So yeah, so it was a whole different, that's what I like to tell people today, that look, you don't want to join this club, but since you're in it, if you're going to get a diagnosis, it's a great time, or it's a better time to get this diagnosis, because there are so many choices, there's so much more information, and people want to hear the patient voice. And we can lean on each other. The medical team is so important. And there's so many medications and more on the horizon. And so it's a much better time to be diagnosed if you are. So
yeah. So when did you start seeing sort of a turning point in that? Like, when did it start to seem like, oh wow, there's a lot happening with treatments?
Well, like I said, I was diagnosed in 1986, and the first medication that was approved was beta-seron, and I think that was 1993. So that was a few years that I was not on medication, which, I'm not happy about that, but it is what it is. So I saw the trends start, well, it was incrementally, of course, because there was one choice at a time. First there was beta-seron, and then Avonex, and Copaxone. So they were starting, a lot of research was starting to happen. Time magazine announced the decade of the brain. So companies were scrambling to try to get more medications out there and more research going. And then all of a sudden, with the creation of the internet, I started also to see more advocacy. Advocacy was something I was doing all along, but through snail mail and through in-person meetings. And with social media especially, turned up the heat on the need for the patient to get better care and to be listened to and to be recognized and to be treated with respect. And all the things that we see now, a lot of them, I would say 95% of them, were not in place. So I can't really point to a certain time, but it certainly took off. And now there's a myriad of, it's like a huge explosion of things that you need to keep on top on, which is virtually impossible. But if you choose what you're interested in and follow that along, then you'll find the information that you need from reputable sites, and reputable blogs.
Yeah, I mean, it's like nowadays there are so many medications that people, have the option to try one, and if it's not working, they try another one. Has that been your experience? Have you had to sort of go a bunch of different directions over the years?
Yeah, well, as we know, everybody's different. Everybody's MS is different. Everybody responds to medications differently. With that said, I jumped at the chance to get the first medication. It was a huge thing back then, as you can imagine, to finally have an FDA-approved MS medication. So I tried the first one, as I mentioned, but I had side effects. So the second one came along, the Avonex. I tried that one. I had side effects. Then I tried the third one, Copaxone, and that one I stayed on for 22 years.
Wow.
Until, for me, I found that I was getting needle burnout. And so I switched when there were, of course, after 22 years and more, there were so many medications available. So then now I'm on Ocrevus. So it's not too bad, but I still think that you have to go with your gut if you think something's working or not, combined with your doctor's recommendations, combined with the knowledge and research that you're doing. All of that together helps you decide which medication you would really feel best going on. Because all meds have side effects. There's no getting around that. But it's the ones that you don't think are as bad as some of the others. Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Yeah.
seems like you have really devoted a good portion of your life to being an advocate. What made you want to be so proactive in that way?
Well, I knew how scared I was and how lonely I was and how overwhelmed I was. Look, I gave up my apartment. I was living in my own apartment. I gave up my job. I moved back home because my doctor told me to. And I don't want anybody to ever feel that alone, that frightened, and that sad, and as I did. And so I knew right from the beginning, right out of the gate, I started. I led a support group for National MS Society, and I really I loved it. I don't think I was ready for it, but I did it for a short time, and I was very successful. But I knew that I wanted to. I felt good when I could help other people, and that just stuck with me. And I said, "Oh, I think this is what I'm going to do." And so from there, it just kind of blossomed slowly, and especially after, the internet came. But if I hear one person say to me that I've helped them, that I made them feel less alone and afraid, or that I've empowered them or educated them in some way, that's the whole ball game. It only takes one person to know that you've made a positive difference, and then it's all worth it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I bet you do hear that sometimes. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. Were you going to say something else?
Oh no, I just decided, I married that boyfriend that I told you about in the beginning. Yeah, we're married 32 years this year. And my son, we had a son, he's 28. And when he was in high school, I decided to go back and get a certification in health advocacy because I wanted to know a little bit more, widen my knowledge, which we all should do always. And that really helped me too, to be able to advocate better for as many people as I can. And in different ways, I'm discovering that I could do it in all different ways, which was not available back then. I used to write letters to the editor and
Mhm.
articles for local papers and, support groups and things. Now you can really keep breaking that glass ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, letters to the editor. I feel like I never hear about that anymore.
No, you don't.
I know it still
I mean,
happens.
magazines are even out, so I
Well,
know.
as I mentioned to you in our email, a lot of the people in this community are very new. Like in our support group, when I get requests, it's like, we always ask, when was your diagnosis? And a lot of people be like, I've seen like an hour ago or last week, because as soon as people get it, they're just frantically, oops, sorry, they're just frantically searching for, I need people to help. I need a group, community. And that's what they should look for. So my question for you is just, what is your advice to someone who is in that position, who is just getting this diagnosis and is feeling scared?
Well, I just want them to always know you hear for everything that we're going through, including the pandemic, we're in this together, we're in this together. But I have found that the MS community is a strong community of people who really are there for each other, and we are tight, and we are there for each other. And I think that we need to learn, and I'm going to go out and say this, especially as women, we have to learn that we have to lean on each other, that we have to communicate, that we have to ask for help or ask the questions, or just have somebody to talk to, a shoulder, an ear, whatever. And I think that it's really important, especially this past year, as we all know, that mental health was a very important subject. I think we need each other more than ever. So to reach out to each other, find the reputable organizations that can give you the best information, and find the, okay, I'll say it, the advocates, or like, or the MS, websites that have sprouted up that are very helpful, like MS Insight. Um, to lean on, because a lot of the help will come from your peers, will come from the advocates, will come from so many places. You don't have to go it alone. You never have to go it alone. Just reach out. If you have one person that you could talk to, whether it's a loved one, friend, family, a spiritual advisor, or even therapy, which there's no shame in, do it. Do whatever is going to help you take care of yourself, to help you feel less alone and less afraid, and empower yourself with the best information that you can. Reach out, reach out, reach out. I highly suggest that.
That is great advice. And if you're watching, I hope that you take it. Please do jump into some of those communities. I think just when you're dealing with any kind of situation, whether it's an illness or, an emotional problem or whatever it may be, it's that community really that can save you and really provide the solace that you're looking for. So Cathy, thank you so much for your wisdom. And everyone follow Cathy on Instagram. She's got a lot of great positive posts on there. I just sort of did a skim through, and you do such a great job with storytelling on there. So
thank you. I found that when I started my blog, in Empowered Spirit 10 years ago, it wasn't until I really broke myself open with authenticity that people really responded, because we all appreciate hearing each other's stories. Tell your story, use your voice. It's so important.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Okay.
I got to figure out how to get you off the screen. This is the problem.
I'll opt out then. Bye.